So let's get started. Thank you all for joining. So Copilot is a part of Office 365. When you go to office.com and log in using corporate ID, as we call it as Office 365 or Entra ID, you will see a welcome page like this. And if you have Copilot license, you should also see a Copilot button here. Now Copilot comes in two variants or flavors if you want. One is called work and one is called web. If you don't see this demarcation, that means as of now you don't have the Copilot license enabled. So what does this difference mean? So web version is the public version of Copilot, which is free and available to people. And work version of Copilot is special because it has access to your data. And because it has access to your data, files, mails, chats, and more, it can actually answer queries in the context of your work. The public Copilot or ChatGPT or XYZ, other GenAI do not have access to your data, so they can only give you limited benefit. So we'll see all of this in action. And recently, Microsoft also added a kind of knowledge-based chatbot creation called agents. If time permits, we will see that as well. Now, how do we go about learning Copilot? Let's go there. Let's understand a little about GenAI. And I want you to focus on the content. So if you have joined from mobile, try to go to something with a bigger screen. And if you're on a bigger screen, that's good. But don't try anything while I'm showing it. I want to maximize the screen space. So I'm going to switch off my video right now. I'll enable it again during Q&A. So now Copilot is ChatGPT++. And one of the commonest confusions out there is, if I already have free version of ChatGPT, why do I need Microsoft Copilot? What extra is it going to do? So that's the issue. I'm going to give you an example of how this works. So this Copilot is called Copilot Chat. Behind the scenes, it is using ChatGPT. But then the question is, if I attach a file here and then ask a question about my file to Copilot, isn't my data going to OpenAI? No. That is the first confusion people have. So let me clarify this. Don't worry, this diagram looks complicated, but it's not. This is my data. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, chat, email. I ask something about that. Now it first goes to Copilot and then it processes it and then goes to the OpenAI model, ChatGPT 4.0, 1.0, whatever. But that ChatGPT is not sitting on OpenAI servers. It's a private, secure version of ChatGPT sitting inside Microsoft's data center. And because your data is also in Microsoft data center, all the security, compliance, privacy rules or policies which you have defined for your data are followed. No data goes outside Microsoft context. Nothing goes to OpenAI as a company, and that data is not going to be used for any training of any model by anybody. So your data is safe. In fact, when you go to Copilot, even if you go to the web version of Copilot, which is free, make sure you log in using your corporate or Office 365 email ID. And what is the benefit? You'll see this small little button here, which looks like an icon of a shield. What is it saying? Enterprise data protection. So what does that mean? This web version of Copilot doesn't have access to your data. So let's say you have a product specification, which is confidential, but you want to put that product specification here and ask a question to Copilot. This is the public version, remember. But even if it's the public version, the OpenAI instance is still within Microsoft context. And it is still going to follow your security compliance guidelines. That's what we mean by enterprise data protection. Now, some of you may be technical people as well. So let me show you what exactly that means. It means the chat data is encrypted. There is no personally identifiable information. All the permissions, policies, labels are respected, followed, DLP is followed. No AI training is done. No trackers, no ads. So if you want to know even more details, you can scan the QR code to understand what is enterprise data protection. So whether you're using the free or paid version, data is safe. That's the conclusion. Now, going one step further, if you want to, let's say, summarize your emails, how do you go about doing it? Every day we open the laptop, go to Outlook and look at the mails from top to bottom. That takes a lot of time, and maybe you get interrupted and you may miss some mails as well. So now, because Copilot has access to your data, the moment you say work Copilot, notice it can refer to files, people, emails, meetings, and everything which you have in the context of you as a person. Remember, you as a person, important. Your company has 100,000, whatever people. Each person has been given some permissions. So I have access to my OneDrive. I have access to mails which I have received and I have sent. I have access to meetings where I am invited. I have access to data which has been shared with me. So whatever access you have, Copilot has the same access. So it's your assistant, remember? So it's exactly working in the context of your data estate. Now, because it has access to all your data, it can do things which are cumbersome for you to do, but very easy for Copilot to do. So where is this Copilot? It is a part of Office 365. And what is Office 365? Well, it has a lot of apps. I hope all of you already have Office 365, and I'm hoping you're already aware of all this. Now, Copilot is available as chat, which has access to all the data. In addition, Copilot is also available inside Word and Excel and so on. So many of the tools available have Copilot inside them, and this list is growing. For example, a few months back, Forms did not have Copilot. Now it has. Loop did not have Copilot. Now it has. So this list is going to grow, and it is growing as we speak. So we are going to see how these Copilots work and how they can transform your work. So let's start with the commonest thing we do every day is emails. So the simplest, probably most common thing people do when they get Copilot is check, can it summarize my emails? And absolutely it can. In fact, it summarizes communication. Email is just one modality of communication. There can be emails, Teams chats, and Teams meetings. And meetings have notes, meetings have transcripts, and so on. So all of that can be covered. So here is an example. I am asking Copilot to summarize all my communication. So how does that work? Here is the Copilot chat. What am I asking it to do? Summarize my communication. And now it goes through my mailbox, chat, meetings, and gives me a lot of details. Not only has it just summarized it for me as a bulleted list, after every bullet there is a reference. So if I look at something and I feel like responding to it, taking action, whether it is chat or meeting or email, when I click on that 4 or 5 or whatever, it will open that mail or chat so I can start acting on it. That means my time is not just saved. Whatever time I have now, I am utilizing more productively for actions, for value adding activities, rather than just wasting time searching for things. And that's not all. I asked something, it gave me the results, all good. But in addition to that, it is telling me more prompts. So I'm sure you have played with various types of GenAI, and one of the very important things people are talking about is prompt engineering, means how do you give good prompts. Now Copilot is helping you by giving you relevant prompts. So you give a prompt, it gives you answers, and it gives you more relevant prompts. So what is our job? Look at those prompts. If any of them is relevant and sensible, click on it. Even if you don't click on all the suggested prompts, that will help you understand what kind of prompts can be generated. So this is how it works. Now another one, I am going to give you an example. This is a more sophisticated example. In fact, if I just show you the prompt, you may not even think it will be able to do it. So what am I saying? Analyze my meetings and mails across the entire month, and don't summarize anything. You tell me the categories of work I do and the percentage of time I spend on each category. Now that's a more complex thing to do. Imagine if you had to do it, You would take a long time understanding all this, tabulating it, converting it to percentage. But look at in 15 seconds what it gave me. It says I do productivity training. I do a lot of internal meetings because in every session I conduct, I have to create a demo meeting to teach people how to do better meetings. That's why. And then of course I work with community. Then financial transactions, news and security. These are the broad categories, but it didn't stop there. It actually counted those things and it's giving me a percentage view of my workload. I had no idea I do this in this proportion till I gave this prompt. So although I am supposed to be an expert in productivity, I myself learned about myself, and now that I know it, I can use that knowledge to my advantage by looking at the proportions and see, am I wasting time somewhere? Should I change this consciously? And so on. And remember, Copilot's output has not finished yet. It continued because it assumed I want to improve, and now it's giving me optimization suggestions. All this happened with that one single line of prompt. So this is called empowerment. It is not just time saving, it is much more than that. Less effort and more impact. That's the whole idea. And while we are at it, many people are worried because Copilot is so good or Gen AI is so good, is it going to compete with me? Is it going to take away my job or at least reduce my importance? No. As this example shows, whatever you are doing, I'm going to do it more effectively. I'm going to be more productive. I'm going to contribute more to my job, business, customers, and all contexts. So it's empowering me rather than competing with me. All right. Now, another very common thing we do is there are lots of meetings. We may not get time to prepare for meetings. There also Copilot helps. So here, example. I'm just asking what is my next meeting and it tells me that there is some workshop I have to conduct. All right. It just picked up that information from my calendar. Now, I want to prepare for that meeting. And usually I would have looked at the context, manually gone and searched for things, then taken notes somewhere and then prepared for it. Now I am asking Copilot to do it. Tell me all the info I need to prepare for the meeting. Now notice what it has done. It has given me various things. They are not just a part of that meeting request, by the way. How does it know all this? Because it has access to all the data I have access to. So it is able to put two and two together. Okay, the meeting says workshop for productivity and Copilot. And now it can go without me asking it to do. It's going, looking at relevant things, consolidating them and giving it. It's even looking at the mail trail and saying, oh, 4,000 people have registered. So in addition to all this, this is just bulleted list. Just reading it is not going to help me prepare. So it has also found relevant files or communication, and it is giving me links to that. So if I click on this, it's going to open that PPT directly for me. Not only that, it is telling me some additional prompts because it understood that that is about Copilot. So do I want to know some use cases for it? Now, when I click on any of them, notice it found those use cases based on the content I have. Sometimes it also goes to the web and searches for it. And then is giving me various use cases for different roles, which is great. It has also given me and figured out which documents have those use cases. And then it found a delivery guide and saying, do you want me to summarize? Because most probably you're going to need it. And it's doing that as well. So now, of course, I save time. Am I going to lose my job? No, I'm going to be more effective in the meeting. And I also save time in the process, which I can invest in some other activity. So that's how Copilot transforms everything you do. Now, sometimes many people try to search for something in Copilot and it doesn't work because by default, it does not look outside. It only looks internal. It's internal facing by default. So when you ask something, it's only going to look at the data you have. So if I ask what is the SGD to USD rate, it'll say, no, I don't know. But then if you need it, you should go and enable web content, in which case it will use ChatGPT, web search, as well as your internal data, and then give you the answers. So there's a common mistake done. If you think the current question I'm asking Copilot requires it to have external access, then go and enable this. There's the button, enable this toggle. Now this is not a global toggle. Depending on the query you're asking, sometimes you want it internal facing, sometimes you want it external. So it's a discretionary toggle. You should keep it in mind while interacting with Copilot. Now, this is generic Copilot. There are many other things it can do, but we have a lot other products to cover. So I'm going to move on to another very common thing we use, which is OneDrive. Now, OneDrive browser version of OneDrive has Copilot. Now, let me show you some things about OneDrive Copilot. It's an amazing tool and it does mind-boggling things. So how do we go to OneDrive Copilot? First thing is to just go to OneDrive. I'm doing that. I'll show it to you shortly. And in OneDrive, I have documents, of course. So I'm going to show you these some documents. This is OneDrive. I have some invoices. I'm just going to select them. Notice I don't see OneDrive icon. This creates a lot of confusion because people think, oh, in my case, that OneDrive Copilot is missing. It's not. Only when you select a file, it will appear. And this supports maximum 5 files at a time. So I'm selecting 5 files. And now I can ask a question to Copilot. So it's saying, do you want to summarize these? Do you want to compare them or ask a specific question? So I could have done both of these, but I'm going to ask a very specific question, in which case it opens a separate pane or window. And now whatever question I ask is going to be answered in the context of the selected files, which is great. So I'm saying, give me a table, tabulate invoice amounts. Now, where is the invoice? These invoices from 5 different vendors. They may have different format. They may be in different layouts. I don't care. Copilot is capable of doing it. And it has actually given me wherever it found whatever is the amount. So this is how multiple files can be compared, analyzed, summarized very quickly, and up to 5 files at a time. But let me show you an even more comprehensive example, which many people get surprised with. Again, this is OneDrive example, and here I have a job description for a graphic design role, and in the same folder I have some resumes which I have got. So I'm going to select one JD and 4 resumes. Why? Because the limit per prompt is 5 files. Okay. And now I'm going to go to Copilot and ask it, compare the JD with resume, find the best candidate, and also give me a comparison table and with a rating which Copilot should create based on how suitable the candidate is. So all the heavy lifting Copilot will do, and it has given me a lot of detail. This is the last part of the output, which is saying, okay, who is the person? This Angelina seems to be the best because her rating is highest. Now, of course, the table it has created, it's crawled up. So for simplicity, I have copy pasted it in Word, in Excel, so that you can see it better. So this is all Copilot's output. Now imagine how beneficial this is. Now imagine is a very important word in the context of Copilot because everything is about imagination. I'll come back to it. But right now, this looks like an HR example. It is because it's recruitment related. But just take a step back and think generically. What did I do? There was a benchmark file, which was the resume, and there were associated responses to that. And then I'm comparing the benchmark with responses. Now, once I say that, it doesn't remain an HR example. It can be used in procurement, it can be used in technical specifications, compliance requirements versus my data, all kinds of scenarios where there is one benchmark file and multiple responses to it. So that's how you look at specific things, convert them to generic thoughts, and then think, where else can I apply it in my business? And I would strongly recommend all of you to do that as a part of this session. I may show you specific things with a specific example, but don't just remain there. You can go and think beyond the example and apply it wherever necessary. Yeah, Shesham, you have a question or a comment? Are there any questions?
Yes, we do have a couple of questions. Should we take that up now? So we're at the end.
No. Yeah, go ahead. Are there relevant questions to what I've covered? Then we'll cover now, otherwise later.
So regarding the function which was just talked about, does the search include the emails in archive?
Emails in archive by default are not covered.
Regarding the data cleaning and essential when it comes to Microsoft Copilot adoption, what is the best practice when it comes to data cleaning?
I'll cover that later. Okay.
Sure, we can continue.
Yeah. So this is how OneDrive Copilot allows you to manage file context based queries. Now let's move on and see something in email. Right now we saw email, but that was a large collection of emails and it was summarizing. The other aspect is I am creating an email, and of course in Outlook itself there is Copilot. So in Copilot, Outlook Copilot, what can it do? It of course will help you draft a new email. So I'm asking it to draft an email because I'm conducting a session for some leaders. So I'm asking it to not just draft an email, give some topic lists, benefits and key takeaways. And it goes back to work. Now in this case, because it knows I do this, internally it must have referred to a lot of files. I've asked it just an email, so it didn't give me references. References come only in the chat portion, but it knows what I do. It figured out and it is giving me correct list of topics and correct key takeaways. Now, if you don't like the first output of Copilot, which is fine, it is not the end of the world. You can say, oh, you have not included this, change it, add it, modify it, delete it, include a topic in more detail, whatever you want, and keep iterating till you get the right context. And nothing prevents you from manually editing it after Copilot gives you. So it's not coming in the way, it's just an adjunct. So this is how it helps you create a new mail from scratch. The other option is there is already a long mail trail going on. I have not been paying attention because I am a senior person and people have the habit of putting me in every CC. But now things have gone to some stage where I need to look at it. So now suddenly I have to look at a long mail trail from bottom to top, time consuming. So every mail you open will have a summarize button now on desktop, browser, web, everywhere, mobile as well. So now any mail, it can quickly summary by Copilot, and it will tell you exactly what is happening. So there's a dispute going on with some airlines about refund. It correctly understood it. This mail trail is going on for 3.5 months, but it precisely tells me what is going on. And then there is another option which many people who use Copilot also are not clear. If it's a long mail trail, one option is to summarize. But after I read the summary, am I just going to leave it? No, I'm going to take action. So if there is a long mail trail and you just click on the reply button, it automatically summarizes, thinks what is the possible course of action and suggests the actions directly, which is the other option. So I said reply, and it is actually telling me 3 possible outcomes available. You choose what you want to do. So I said, okay, these airlines are not responding. Let me file a consumer complaint. Now it will draft a consumer complaint for me in the context of what has gone on. And that is called value. That is not just time saving. That's not just smart use of AI. It's actually improving whatever I'm doing in my work. So more productivity, less effort, more impact. But there is another angle. I'm sure many of you already thought of it, or maybe you will think of it later. The idea is because this Gen AI is so smart and effective and all that, many of us are worried, consciously or subconsciously, that is it going to dull my brain? Is it going to dumb me down? That is not something you should worry about, because Copilot also has another facet, another capability called coaching. And right now I'm going to show you coaching of email. But just to complete the topic, coach means an AI coach for you as a part of the system, no extra payment, is available in email, in Teams, and in PowerPoint. If time permits, I'll show you all 3. But let's focus on Outlook. So now I have created a best practice for my organization, because we spend a lot of time in meetings. Meetings happen in Teams, but the agenda negotiation, collaterals, action items, notes, all are scattered in email. I don't want that. So I have created a standard operating procedure, which says Teams is capable of managing the entire meeting lifecycle, and this is the way we are going to manage meetings from tomorrow. I am the boss. I know this topic. I have written the mail. There is no Copilot used anywhere. So in that sense, it is useless to me. No. After I have written everything, I want to make sure that sending a mail as a boss is easy, but are people going to follow it? So from that point of view, am I communicating effectively? Now, as a boss, whom do I ask? I can't ask my subordinates. I don't have time to hire a coach for this, so I can ask Copilot. So there is an option called Coaching by Copilot. It'll look at what I have written. It'll not change anything, but it will analyze the content, the context, and give me suggestions. Typically, it gives suggestions about the tone, sentiment, and clarity. Tone is the way I am communicating. Sentiment means after people read it, how are they going to respond? And detail and clarity. So it's saying, you're the boss, yes, but why don't you sound more friendly? And it's not just giving me a generic thought. It is taking a sentence which I have written, it's rephrasing the sentence to be more friendly and palatable. So this is called value addition. Even if I'm the biggest boss and even if I'm the expert in that field, if I communicate better, whatever I'm intending to do will get achieved faster and with lesser resistance. So it's good for me, good for everyone. It's also saying show some appreciation, have positive language, and you're assuming everyone knows Teams as well as you do. Maybe they don't. So how will they follow you? So provide more details. So this is how coaching can nudge you in the right direction. And this coaching is only private to you. Nobody else is seeing it. So there is no loss of confidentiality. Your ego is not hurt. Nobody else needs to know, but you improve. So that's another angle. All right, let's move on. And while we are doing all this, there is a lot of worry about people seeing all this data. How is Microsoft using it? Because we have created data leakage prevention policies. We have endpoint protection. We have sensitivity labels. So don't worry. From a technical perspective, this is just an application written in the context of Microsoft platform, and it is accessing the data as a user does. So everything which you are doing in terms of security policies, endpoint management, MDM, MM, all of those are going to be followed. All right, moving on. Let's see some other related topics. Are there any pending questions? Okay, one of the concerns people have is, yes, I'm using Copilot to generate things, whether it is text, copy for my ad, or some analysis, review, or even images. And then I use those images in my business, on my brochure, on my website, wherever. What is the copyright stance? So this is a global discussion going on right now. There is no hard and fast communication yet. People are still grappling with the thought. But while that is happening, Microsoft protects its customers. How? Microsoft has something called Copilot Copyright Commitment. What does that mean? If you want to know details, scan this QR code. But what in simple terms it means is, if you use Copilot, generate some content, whether text or image, and then you use it, and someone sues you saying this is my IP or you have infringed my copyright, whatever litigation is required, Microsoft will do. You don't have to engage a lawyer or spend any money. So you are indemnified against those lawsuits. That's what it means. All right, moving on. Let's look at Word, because that's another common thing. A lot of formal communication happens through Word. So you go to Word and there is Copilot, of course. But in Word, there is Copilot in two different places. So let me actually show it to you. So this is the list of topics for my session. But if I start a new Word document, have you noticed that your Word user interface itself changed recently? You may not see this if you have not got Office 365 version of Word and you have not updated your desktop version. If you are from IT, many IT people keep the refresh frequency as 6 months, which was okay earlier, but now new features are getting added every week. So it is in your interest to increase the refresh frequency to monthly at least, if not faster. And the key team, IT team, the champions, the people who are driving adoption, those people should be on beta channel so they get updates as soon as they are released. Anyway, this is a comparatively recent update where as soon as you start even a blank document saying, do you want to create a proposal based on a file you already have? Do you want to create a plan for something? Do you want to write an article or whatever else you want? So if I click on this is Copilot prompt. And what is it saying? If you don't like it, close it. And this means I can refer to files, meetings, emails. So here I can say create a document from, and now that from can be a file, email, whatever. And what kind of file it can be? It can be PowerPoint, Word, PDF, Excel, not yet. So like that, I can start from scratch, but with a file context, or I can ask it an open-ended question about role of AI. And this is a completely open-ended question. Now this, probably I don't have any document in my Office 365, but it understands. It's going to ask ChatGPT for it, and it's going to give me a nice document. This document is getting literally generated as we speak. This is a live demo. And I have enabled the document map to tell you how many topics and subtopics it created. Now, of course, you could have done this something similar in ChatGPT, but it would not be a formatted Word document. You would have to copy paste, and that markdown will trouble you. You'll have to search replace. So this is not just ChatGPT. The ChatGPT plus plus. It has full understanding of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which third-party Gen AI tools will never have. So this is how you use Word Copilot. It can also understand things and correlate multiple documents. For example, I have a PowerPoint presentation. Our company went on a strategic offsite in the beginning of the year, and we have said this year we are going to follow these key goals. There's already a slide. Now I got a partnership proposal which I have to approve or reject depending on whether it aligns with our corporate goals. And now this is a different Word document, that is a different PowerPoint. They are in two different folders. I want to put two and two together and check whatever this partnership proposal is it aligned? So look at the prompt. Check if this proposal, and then reference, and put the reference to this file, aligns with the goals, again reference to the PPT. That's it. I have not said which slide in the PPT has goals in it, which part of the proposal you should look at. All that I would have to do. I or someone in my company would have to do line by line earlier. But now with Copilot, it is understanding your content. Wherever required, it is using the intelligence of ChatGPT, putting two and two together, and it will create a new document. I didn't just create a document. There were 4 goals. So it tabulated them. I did not ask. It found that this is the best way to represent the alignment. So created a table. It even gave a score rating of alignment. So employee welfare is not matching, whereas growth drivers are matching. Now, why did it give 4, 3, or 5? It's explaining that in the third column. And having done all that, it's giving me the overall conclusion. In general, there is good degree of alignment. You can proceed. Now, this is really like your intelligent, faithful, smart assistant. This is in no way going to eliminate you. This is going to make you more effective and more structured, more informed decisions faster. And many people try Excel as well. So let's try some things in Excel Copilot. Excel Copilot recently became general availability. Earlier it was called preview, but the Excel Copilot still works on input data. Remember that. Many people get confused with Excel Copilot because they give Excel Copilot something like a pivot table and say analyze, and it doesn't end up doing that. And the reason is Excel Copilot, as of now at least, works on input data, not summarized version of data. It will generate summaries for you, but it will not work on summarized data. So let me see if I can show you an example. So this is raw data. I have country, city, and some expense type and amount. Expense data. I have few columns, 1500 rows. And now I can go to Copilot and ask it to do analysis. Now it's saying autosave. There is a necessity for this. Why is autosave turned off? Because I have consciously done that. Because it's a demo file. Anyway, for autosave to be on, your data has to be on OneDrive or Teams or SharePoint. And that is a very important aspect of effectively utilizing Copilot. Many of us, and it doesn't matter whether it's Singapore or India or New Zealand, many people still store their files on local drive. For some reason or the other, they don't end up storing them on cloud, OneDrive or Teams or SharePoint. So if your data is not on Microsoft Cloud, a Copilot can't touch it. Copilot cannot access a file which is only on your laptop. So it's very important to make sure everyone in the organization stores files on OneDrive. And once a file is on OneDrive, autosave will be on. Now it's showing me some suggestions. Okay, so I'm saying show data insights. I didn't say explicitly what it should do. I've just clicked on a prompt which is already available. And it did give me age by year. Now whether that was the best thing to do or not, I don't know. Okay, I know this is how my age fluctuated, average age. It understood age has to be average, not sum. But then I don't want it to do one chart, one insight at a time. In fact, it itself is suggesting add all insights to grid is an option I have. And this is important to understand. Like I said earlier, when you give a prompt, yes, you look at the results, but also look at what else it is doing and eyeball it at least. This looks like a refresh button, but actually it will give you some more suggestions. So it's like a more button in that sense. So please click on that button, eyeball the suggestions and think, is any of these useful? So one of the suggestions it gave me is what? Add all insights. If I had not seen that suggestion, I would not have understood that Copilot is even capable of doing it. So now that I've understood it, let's see what it does. So when I say add insights to grid, this is what it does. To save time, I have screenshots. It'll go through the data, correlate every column with every other column, find things which are statistically significant, decide the correct visual for it, and put it in a grid like this. This is what I mean by put all insights in grid. And below, it'll also give you certain relevant pivot tables. So this is how you use Copilot in the context of Excel. But there are certain things it cannot do. For example, I have a balance sheet. Balance sheet is not raw data. There are totals, there are subheadings, subtotals. So that kind of thing, if you ask Copilot to do, this is not going to work. So that creates a lot of expectation mismatch. This is in technical terms unstructured data because it's not a formal raw data input. But even if Copilot in Excel cannot do it, don't lose heart. Copilot can do it. And this is a common misconception. People have just not tried. So let me show you what to do with data which you want to analyze. But Excel Copilot is not doing it because it's not raw data and tabular data. You don't have to give up. You go to Word. And in Word, you ask it to analyze data. Word is capable of analyzing data. In fact, any Copilot, if you copy paste the data, is capable because behind the scenes, the engine is same. But why am I doing it in Word? Because when I analyze the balance sheet, I want the description in a structured way. I could have done it in chat as well. So copy this, paste it in Word Copilot and ask it to create a document by analyzing. Never mind, there is a spelling mistake. Copilot knows all the languages in the world and all the words in every language. So it is very tolerant. Now notice what it did. It actually created ratios for me. I didn't ask it to. I just said analyze the balance sheet. It understood if you are analyzing balance sheet, obviously you need to look at the ratios. Now it is doing that. In fact, this is just a screenshot. I will show you the actual document which it created. I have saved it for reference. So this is the document it created. Liquidity ratios, leverage ratios, efficiency ratios. It created all this, put a table, it's interpreting the ratio, and it's also giving me a conclusion that this company seems to have some good things, some bad things. Now you take a call. So remember, all this is great, but final decision is yours. You should not just blindly go by whatever any GenAI says. It is just simplifying that process for you. Final expertise, domain knowledge, experience, and discretion is yours. So if it is any financial, medical, or wealth related decision, then it's always important to make sure you consult a human expert. And this is not specific to Copilot. Any Gen AI tool will have the same disclaimer. All right. Are there any questions?
Most of the questions are getting answered.
Yeah. All right. So we'll move on.
Yeah.
So now let's look at PowerPoint. PowerPoint also has a lot of features, and there are two primary things we can do with PowerPoint. Either create a PPT, or we already have a PPT, ask Copilot to summarize it. Both things can happen. So create a presentation is quite simple. Go to Copilot. I'm asking it to create a presentation about recent trends in renewable energy. And it goes to work, creates something. Now this obviously requires external access. So again, like I said in chat, it's important to ensure that the correct settings are on. So this is live. This is Copilot. And when the Copilot pane comes, it gives you the commonest prompts used, understand and create. So many people did not realize earlier that Copilot in PowerPoint can create images. All of us know about text to image generation, right? Initially when the Copilot came, it didn't, but since few months, it is very much capable of doing image generation. So this is important to read, eyeball and utilize. So these are the most common prompts. That's why they come up front. So what can we do in PowerPoint Copilot? There's the answer. Create a presentation while referring to a file. That file can be Word or PDF, and create a presentation about, just give a topic. You may or may not have documents related to it, doesn't matter. Or I already have a presentation. I'm saying extract some deadlines or action items, or just show me the key slides, or create an image. Now in some prompts, it may require to look outside or use ChatGPT or external web search. So this is the button which I showed you in chat. This button is available in all the Copilots. And as I said earlier, you have to enable, disable it depending on the context. Another thing is it can add an image, and you can upload or put an image and do something in the context of the image. And nowadays it's multimodal. What does that mean? I can talk to it. So if everything goes well and your microphone is configured and you are connected, you can ask rather than type. So create a presentation about Singapore, new line. Now why did I say new line? That's a command. That means go to the next line. Or I can just say send. Now it's going to go to work, figure out what is required and generate a presentation. So this is one way of doing it. Other way of doing it, while it is working on this, I'll show you something else. I have a document already. This is Excel best practices, comprehensive set of best practices for how to use Excel properly. This predominantly bullets, text heavy document, has some articles, tables, text, hardly any images. Now I want to present it to an audience. So I say, okay, create a presentation from, and / is the shortcut for referring to a file. Refer to the file and look at it. That original file was some 4 or 5 pages, created a 74-page presentation. And my file did not have any images. It figured out the images as well. So this is how existing documents can be repurposed for this purpose. Here is the Singapore presentation it just created. I did not do anything. All this has come in last few seconds. Notice that it has same design language for those who understand design. There's consistent typography, consistent layout, same color combinations, same animation. So it is doing things in a manner that's not just copy pasting data from some website. It is creating a consistent, cohesive, high impact presentation. It has also added animations or transitions as we saw. And now all this is not just the endpoint. This is what it gave. Zero shot means you asked, it gave. Of course, you can continue to analyze, continue to add to it and so on. Now there is another way of creating a presentation which was added recently. Just create a blank presentation and you'll see Copilot button here. Now the prompt looks similar, create a presentation about, I just did that. But if you do it from here, it's a little different. It opens a dialog and I'm going to ask exactly the same thing. Now this time it didn't go and create the presentation. Here it is just giving me broad topics. It is not generating slides yet. So why is this useful? Because it's giving me the outline first. Then I look at it and say, okay, this is good. Do you want something changed? I can reorder. I want something here. I am saying role of. Now, of course, I don't have to say about Singapore because it already knows the context. So I am adding, subtracting, rearranging my thoughts and topics. And then when I'm happy with it, I will ask it to generate slides. So this gives you much more impactful presentations with less number of iterations. So if you haven't tried that, try it out after this session. Now let's talk about meetings while that is happening. Meetings are important, as you know, and generally we block the time for meeting in calendar and conduct the meeting in Teams or maybe Zoom or Google, whatever you use. But if you are already having Office 365, I am sure all of you are already using Teams. Sometimes customer sends you another meeting, that's fine. But the important thing to understand is meetings are not just about time. Meetings have many other things in them. So one of the things you should absolutely notice about the meeting is that we can add agenda, notes, and action items as a part of the meeting. I'm going to show that to you shortly, but here, using this new method, it created a much better presentation about Singapore. Earlier it was 12 slides, now it is 31, and I have arranged the topics correctly, and it has even put it in sections, as you can see. And now, just to show you another amazing feature of PowerPoint, there's the title slide, and then I have history, I have economics, I have tourism, broad topics. But now when I run this presentation, it's going to run from first slide. And then someone tells me, directly go to tourism. Now I'm stuck. Now I have to find that slide. So here is a brilliant feature of PowerPoint. There's not Copilot, there's PowerPoint. I go to Insert, Links, Zoom, Summary Zoom. And notice it has already selected the slides where the section started. And where did section start? Section means these dividers. They started when a topic started. So already all topics are selected. And now when I click Insert, notice it added a beautiful new slide, which is like a menu for me. And let's say I'm showing this to the audience now, much better than going linear. Whatever the audience is interested, I can go quickly. Urban planning, fine. Click on it. Now it goes to urban planning, whatever number of slides in urban planning, and now it will not spill over. It will come back to this. This is how you deliver effective presentations. This has nothing to do with Copilot, but this has everything to do with effective presentation delivery. So another thing to learn in this session is, yes, Copilot is great, but Copilot alone is not great. The product plus Copilot is great. So having a knowledge of Copilot is important. It's equally important to know how the product has to be used effectively. Copilot is a complementary thing. It's an adjunct. It's not a replacement to knowledge of the product. So coming to meetings, yes, we manage meetings in Teams and block in calendar, but there are many things like agenda negotiation, pre-read materials, during the meeting notes. Those meeting notes are taken by one person and the minutes of meeting will come to you tomorrow. All these things are happening in email, by the way. They have nothing to do with the calendar meeting block. These are mails floating around in inbox, and every meeting generates so many mails. So ideally, we should not be doing it like this. From now onwards, yes, you can create a meeting in Outlook because we are used to it. But as soon as you create the meeting, come to Teams calendar, the meeting will have synced, and here the data is already synced, that's fine. But there is one feature here which is only available in meeting. meeting calendar of Teams. So I am adding some people. This feature called notes. This is called loop components. So this agenda is, so now for agenda management, you don't have to send mails to anybody. So basic idea is meetings without mails. So this is before the meeting. I send the meeting request. Everyone can edit the agenda with full audit trail. That's called loop components. Anyway, now during the meeting, what happens? After the meeting, what happens? And where do we use Copilot? So during the meeting, if you enable transcript, Copilot can look at the transcript and help you. So sometimes we join a meeting late and I don't know what has happened so far. So I have to disturb everyone to find out what has happened. Now I can go to Copilot and ask Copilot what happened. So that's how Copilot is helping person who joined late. But that's not all. Copilot will also help people in the meeting. So if someone is in the meeting and they want to know what has happened so far and what items are left, are there any differences of opinion? Are there any agenda items which have not been addressed fully? All those questions can be asked during the meeting. And after the meeting also Copilot is there. That's called intelligent recap. Usually we have a summary which comes to us, transcript, not a summary, transcript, a recording, and maybe attendance sheet, attendance record if you're the organizer. That's what we get after a meeting. But if you have Copilot, you will get another thing called recap. This meeting has already happened. Now who will go there? A person who did not attend the meeting but wants to know what has happened. That's one option. So what do? Go to view recap. Recap is a formal minutes of meeting, which is auto-generated by Copilot by looking at the transcript and meeting notes taken during the meeting. It's properly formatted. You can look at it, and if you are still not clear about what happened, the Copilot button is still there. So as a person who is looking at this after the meeting is over, I can continue to interact with Copilot and ask very pointed specific questions, and it will answer. This is the formal minutes of meeting it generated. So now you don't have to send anything. Everyone who attended the meeting has access to it. They can just go and look at it. Again, we eliminated emails. In addition to this minutes of meeting, it's also giving you a very new kind of chart which many people have not seen before, but now it's available. Saying 2-3 people were there in the meeting. This person spoke a little, probably introduced, and then this person spoke a lot. This person spoke a lot. And because someone is speaking, other person is not speaking at that time, this pattern looks like a discussion. If I show you the chart for this meeting, it'll look like everyone is quiet and only Nitin is talking because it's a presentation one way. So just the pattern important. Or there are 5 people meeting and you are wanting to know what was the conclusion taken by boss. So you go to boss, click on the last button and it'll start playing from that point in video. So even if you have attended the meeting, if there's a dispute, difference of opinion, ambiguity, it is still helping you grapple with it and come to the precise clarity. It also understands broadly which topics were covered, independent of what we have written in the agenda, and it gives you a stacked bar chart showing you the time taken for each topic. This you click on a particular topic, it will start from there in the meeting or in the meeting recording. So this is how meeting recap can be very useful. But this is the default. Now I am asking a specific question. I didn't attend the meeting. Are there any action items for me? I am asking. It's saying, okay, I'll give it to you. It's giving me these. And I am the boss, but someone else managed the meeting. I want to know, did we manage the customer properly? Did we meet expectations? So I'm asking, what did that customer want? And did that person deliver it? Now it's not just saying yes and no. Giving me granular details about what happened and what was done. So this is effective meeting management, whichever way you look at. Bottom line, Copilot is there during and after the meeting. And I told you earlier, if you go to Copilot chat and say, summarize my meetings across this week, it will do that as well. So the Copilot context can be a single meeting or a range of time and all the meetings which happened during that time. Copilot is also available in other tools. It's a good idea to look at some of them. I'm sure many of you use forms, surveys, and so on. So I'm asking Copilot to generate a survey. If you have been using Microsoft Forms, you will notice that surveys, Microsoft Forms has not just survey capability, it also has quiz capability. So I'm just going to show you a few parts from it. So I'll go to Forms and we will create a survey live. By the way, Microsoft Forms also is capable of creating a quiz. And in Form as well as quiz, it has Copilot. So you don't have to scratch your head creating a survey, because the way you word the questions, way you choose the questions, all of that matters. And that's a science by itself and an art. Everyone may or may not be conversant with it, but Copilot is. So what do? I'm going to ask it, create a quiz about M365 Copilot. Only multiple choice, only radio buttons, only one answer correct. Syntax and commas and all that don't matter, and generate. And it goes to work. And of course, it's iterative. So if you don't like something, you can modify, ask it to give details. But look at how it is working. This is a live demo. Not only did it create questions, answers, is marking the correct question. And for each question, by default, it generates 10 unless you specify otherwise. It is also giving me answer explanation. So if after people take the quiz, you should be telling them if their question answer was wrong. So it's added that answer as well. It's a brilliant option available. If you have not used it in Forms, please try it next time you use Forms. Whiteboard is another commonly ignored but very powerful tool. Whiteboard is a part of Teams. So in any Teams meeting, share button, you have screen, window, and whiteboard. So in whiteboard, why do we use whiteboard? Because when you're brainstorming, ideating, problem solving, like that. So whiteboard, very often we are sitting there whiteboarding, and the purpose is to ideate, but for some reason ideas are not coming. No problem, ask Copilot. So I'm asking Copilot for ideas, and of course it'll give me, I can iterate there. And look at this. When I click insert, I could have asked this question in Word or PowerPoint or Excel or in chat. The same question, give me ideas about Copilot adoption. Depending on which product I have chosen, the format will change. So this is whiteboard. So because it's whiteboard, when I say insert, it puts it as a sticky note grid. That's what we do in person. There's a whiteboard. We literally stick the notes. And then everyone has to vote. So in a Teams meeting, there is a way to allow everyone to vote. And then very quickly, I not only generated ideas, by consensus in a transparent democratic manner, I even found the best ideas. Everyone participated, so we created inclusive meetings. So that's another use of Copilot. Now, let's look at something else. Recently, Microsoft created something called Copilot Pages. So let's say there is some team we have formed to research on a new product. And I create something. I ask Copilot. Now that output of Copilot, I have to put it in a document, copy paste, send it to people. Instead of that now, this is what happens. I asked Copilot about some question. It gave me the answer. And now let me show it to you live what happens. I'm going to Copilot, ask question, give me, and now these topics, I'm not the one covering. There is a team. I have 5 trainers and we are going to sit and do it. Now, after the output comes, it says, do you want to collaborate on this? Then I don't want you to waste time copying, pasting, sending. You create a page out of it. Edit in Pages. So now it just converted this to a page. And now this page I can share. Now Copilot job is over. Collaboration has started. Now I can share it with other people, my team, whatever. And while Copilot output is there, maybe I want some ideas from my team. So / is the universal new menu nowadays. And these are different loop components. So I'm looking at these loop components and say, what do I want? So all these things are a part of loop now. So I'm asking people to give me ideas maybe. So I can create a table or I can create a checklist. So I say, give me ideas, and people will type it. Everyone will have audit trail and we can finalize. So this is not just a hard-coded output of Copilot. I can go anywhere, add any component there and work on it. And while we are at it, let me tell you one brilliant option of Copilot and then we'll take questions. Copilot allows you to create what? It allows you to create flowcharts, and many people don't know this. So this is putting two things. Let me show you Copilot first. So I'm going to Copilot, and in Copilot, I will ask it to create a flowchart. So let's say I want to create a flowchart for paper manufacturing. Create a flowchart and give. Now many of you may not know what is mermaid format, but you know, when you ask GenAI for a flowchart, it's just going to give you sort of a bulleted list. So let's see what this does. It does give me a flowchart. There is raw material and this and that, cleaning, this, that, these are the steps. But this is supposed to be a flowchart. I didn't ask it to create a bulleted list, which is good, but this looks like some kind of coding. Don't worry. This is called mermaid format. So just copy it and now just ask it to create a page. So in fact, we already had a page somewhere. So I'm going to go to that page, and in that page, I'm going to put it. So what happens? Let's say I have gone to a page. Let's create a, this is the page. There in loop / you will see something called mermaid. This is absolutely outstanding. And now this code can be pasted here and it'll actually create a nice flowchart for you, which you can copy paste somewhere. The combination of loop component mermaid and Copilot helps you create amazing flowcharts for literally any topic in the world. So now that's the thing to understand. There are so many capabilities of Copilot. If you don't know it is capable, then you're not going to ask it, and that's a problem. So how do you know what can it do? And that's also answered here. How do you do that? If you go to Copilot, of course there are prompts and all that, but apart from the prompts, there is something called view prompts. I strongly suggest you go to see all prompts. It'll open a new web page. Make sure you log in using the correct email ID there. And when you go there, what happens? It takes you to what is called Copilot Lab, which has a very long list of commonly used prompts, effective, useful prompts across the world. So make sure you log in, and then you can decide how you want to see it. All the products are listed. All the types of work Copilot can do is listed. Even different industries and departments are listed. So if you have Copilot, or when you get Copilot, it's absolutely necessary for everyone to at least look at this list. You don't need to try all of them. Some of them may not be relevant to you, fine. But if this is relevant to you, don't try it immediately. Bookmark it, and then you can go to saved prompts and practice them. That's how full capabilities of Copilot now you are able to implement in your business context. There is another site you should know that is called Copilot Scenario Library. Scenario Library Copilot. So this is again by Microsoft. The earlier list we saw were just isolated, assorted prompts. Whereas here we have business processes, common horizontals, functional area, as well as industries. So you can go to any one of them, open it out and say, what do you want to do? Let's say create a change management plan. This is a business process. So it says, okay, these are the steps of the process. It's going to, why are we optimizing this? Because cost saving, employee experience. Typically, these are the steps in the process. And in each step, which Microsoft product can help? Some of those are chat or some specific Copilot. In some cases, it can be Copilot in a particular product and so on and so forth. So this breaks down common business processes and maps Copilot capabilities. So by doing this, you will be able to utilize Copilot to your advantage. So lastly, when you do have Copilot, how do you effectively utilize it? It's an ongoing process. It's not an overnight thing. So what is the process? You proactively learn capabilities of Copilot. I've already shown you how to do that. And once you understand that, you have to look at business processes because you know your business best. And once you map them, everyone in the company should know, oh, this use case, this is the best way to do. We don't want everyone to waste time doing that trial and error. So a small team of focused people learn, they apply, they standardize the standard operating procedure or best practices you share with everyone, and then you will get significant results. And all this can be quantified because you want to show the return on investment. That can also be done by identifying what are the activities you are doing, how much time was it taken earlier, how much is it taking now, and create a matrix like this. So let's say recapping mails, time saved 10 minutes, but actually better actions, a more effective communication. That's also a benefit. So put some time equivalent, how many people will use it, how often they will use it, and a simple calculation will tell you how much time is saved, and then you can convert the time saving to money and then look at the ROI. So that is how you use Copilot effectively. I know there are a lot of questions, so I'm going to stop talking and we will take questions, or maybe Mabel also has some announcements. We'll do that as well. So Mabel, you want to explain this part?
Why don't we take the question first? Shisham has collated the questions, right?
Yeah, Shisham, are there few questions or many questions?
Many questions are answered, but we'll take up the remaining ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, while waiting for Shisham to collate the questions, here is our program that is actually enabled with the government, Enterprise Singapore and AI Singapore, where we draft a program on Microsoft Copilot for SME in Singapore. So this is basically purely for Singapore, this program. For this program, it entitles SME to purchase the license at a 50% discount, where the subsidy is actually subsidized by Enterprise Singapore and Enterprise Singapore. So for this, right, we have, if you need more information, please scan the QR code that is reflected on this page. And the sign up for this 50% subsidy by the government, it's till 20th November. I repeat, the subsidy of 50% on Copilot license is till 20th November. You need to sign up by this date. Please scan on the QR code on the right-hand side. And for further inquiries that is not answered today, please drop us an email at sgm365copilot.sme@microsoft.com. Okay, I'll hand it back to you, Shisham, on the questions that are not answered.
Thank you. So the first one is, how can we create database so that we can compare documents against the database?
Copilot per se cannot create a database, but you can have multiple documents and you can ask comparison output to come as a table. Once the table is there, you can put it in a database or import it. Next.
Also, before we take the next question, we have shared a link to a feedback form in the chat window. We request you to please use this link to give us your feedback about the session. The next question, how about face-to-face meetings? Let's say I open one laptop and record everyone's voices in the Teams meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So because I said now Teams meeting has the capability of not only just recording screen and audio and transcript, it also has Copilot in it. Even if you're doing an in-person meeting, sitting next to someone in a conference room, it absolutely makes sense to create a Teams meeting. One of you join the meeting because both of you are there, and record it, transcript, because you will get all the benefits of Copilot. And if you are asking if there are multiple people and one microphone on, will it recognize different people? If you have the right Teams room devices, even that can happen. Next.
Can Copilot only access data to Dataverse? And is it able to read the data from Dataverse or SharePoint list?
Yes, absolutely. Copilot Studio is capable of looking at data in Dataverse, using it as a knowledge base, and creating a chat box out of the box.
Can we use Copilot outside of MS Office tools, that is, build a front-end UI like a chatbot and call an API to Copilot for answers?
Yes, you can, but that's something you will have to do through Azure OpenAI Studio, which is designed for developers to use Azure OpenAI API. The M365 Copilot, Microsoft has already done that. So that M365 Copilot itself is not programmable. Microsoft has already done the programming and integration with Office. If you want to directly use some capabilities, use Azure OpenAI Studio.
Does the quiz allows us to refer specific documents, example training materials, to generate questions relevant to a specific topic in the document?
That's something I'm not sure. Let me check, because when it started, it didn't allow referencing. So as of now, referencing is not allowed. Maybe it will be added very soon. And that's another thing. Many of us don't realize that everyone is worried about the cost of procuring GenAI or Copilot. The cost is going to remain same, but the features are growing exponentially, and Microsoft is not increasing the cost. So it's equally important to look at Microsoft roadmap, and many people don't know about it, but I strongly suggest you should go and look at it. This roadmap is about new features and what is coming soon. So this is not specific to Copilot, but you can search for Copilot in this case. This is for across M365. In last year, 900 new features were added, 153 are rolling out, and 600 new features are coming. That's real value. The cost has not increased, number of features has increased by 1,000. And if you do this for Copilot, as you can see, 233 new things are happening as we speak. So another common mistake people do is they buy Copilot, something works on day one, and later on the exploration stops. So new features are getting added, but nobody in the company is looking at them. So it's a loss of opportunity. So continuous learning and continuous application to business is very important. Next.
When I try out Teams meeting with Copilot previously, after the meeting, the recap transcript can only be downloaded by the organizer, not me. Is this a setting problem?
Yeah, that's a configuration problem. But if you're asking Copilot specific, if some people have Copilot license, some people don't, only the people who have Copilot license will see the AI recap part of it. Everyone should generally see the transcript and video, unless there is a specific restriction put by IT. Next.
Can Copilot pull data from shared drive to understand where all my data is stored?
Now, shared drive is a very generic term. If you are saying shared drive, which is a file server and mapped as M:/C:, I don't think so. If that shared drive is SharePoint and as a part of M365, yes. So anything which you have access to and is on Microsoft 365 platform or connected to it through a connector, Copilot will have access to.
Does Copilot has the function to capture audio, that is meeting, and produce the minutes of the meeting?
That's a native, that's called transcript, by the way, voice to text. That's a native feature of Teams called transcript. Now using the transcript and shared meeting notes to create a formal minutes of meeting, that is what Copilot does.
I realize that Dr. Nitin's Copilot chat in PowerPoint has an image button, but not mine. Also, my PowerPoint Copilot doesn't have the create image option. Is this a license problem?
No, if you already have Copilot and some of the UI is different, you have to update your Office desktop version. As I said, these are very fast moving products. So especially in the context of Copilot, it is very important that we increase the refresh frequency. For example, in this case, let me show you where to go. This is more for IT people. I would suggest you go to account and all of you can just say update now, and that will give you the latest version, but that's a manual thing. Ideally, if you're from IT, change the refresh frequency to 1 month, and the key people should be in beta channel so they get fastest updates. And another thing, the new features are always latest on browser. So if some desktop version is not showing some, go to browser version of PowerPoint, you will find it.
In Copilot and PowerPoint, we use to generate charts such as a time chart, flow chart, or org chart.
Copilot in Excel can be used, yes, not Copilot in chat.
Okay. With link to a previous question, even if it couldn't refer to a file, we can still use Copilot to draft some questions based on a document, then bring the output to the quiz prompts.
Yes, you can. And that is possible through a feature where you go to forms, and in forms there is import, and then you can upload the Word or PDF file in a particular format, then it will generate the quiz. That format is important. I have a video for that. I'll post the link to that.
The licensing question, is there a trial license for Copilot for Microsoft 365? My management does not wish to get the 50% subsidy yet.
No, there is no trial license.
One more question. Can you advise what we can do in Copilot Studio?
Yeah, in Copilot Studio, you go and create a chatbot, AI-based chatbot based on some knowledge repository. That knowledge repository could be a SharePoint site or document library. It could be just documents which you upload directly, reference documents, best practices, SOPs, HR policies, whatever you want. Or it can be a public website also. Just point it to that, and then it generates a chatbot which will work in Teams Copilot chat. And now you have a natural language interface to that knowledge base. That is out of the box with little programming. It can connect to third-party applications, SAP or Jira or various other things, and also get line of business data as a part of a chatbot.
Is there a Copilot inbuilt in SharePoint sites also? Can it do certain actions on our behalf? Example, create a new site or change user access? Or would it just provide us information on how to do it?
Yeah, so recently Copilot has agents, and that was introduced just a couple of days back. So here you can create agents, configure it, and it can do certain actions. There's sort of preview right now, but basically actions are Power Automate actions. So technically speaking, Copilot plus Power Automate, whatever you can imagine, you can do. Because Power Automate already has connected to 1000 plus Microsoft and non-Microsoft apps. So now put two and two together and you have a really powerful GenAI based low-code, no-code system. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please post them as comments. Thank you for watching.